Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Royal Instinct. Today, we're going to be looking at is the AI revolution a problem for humanity? The whole idea of replacing humans, is it going to end catastrophically? And why luxury prisons are better than rough and tough prisons, okay? We're going to be there diving deep into the Scandinavian, Norwegian prison systems and whether that is the future of humanity. Is that what the elites have in store for us? Do they want to imprison you into a comfortable luxury prison so that all your needs are met, so that you are comfortable and that you won't mind being there? Because we are living in times of crisis. We are going through difficult times. It seems like we are at the beginnings of World War III. There's war in Ukraine right now. There's a war in the Middle East. United States, Israel are all being pulled into this war. Um, you know Started by those countries. Okay, those elites who have been elected, who are in charge of those countries, have decided to do something where the general public was not consulted on. The general public was not asked whether we should do this. Those decisions were made by those people because they have the power and they don't need to ask permission to do anything about it. Okay. If you ask most people, they would be against war. If you ask most people, they do not want this to happen right now. Um, and that is how you notice that the game is rigged. Okay, the people who are supposed to represent us, who have been elected to make decisions on our behalf, are abusing that power, steering humanity, the evolution of the human race, down a path where many people will be hurt, many people will lose their lives, many people will suffer unimaginable consequences. But the elites, the people making those decisions, seem to be protected. Okay, is it because that they are in cahoots with each other, that they have a agenda, an alliance for each other, that they want to eliminate most of humanity because they don't really care about us? Okay, is it a um, closed members club where the elites see themselves as better people, without any regard for the everyday people, the people that elect them, the general public? Okay, if you're somebody like me who has lived in the Western world, if you're somebody like me who has been through the educational system, you followed society's structure, you decided to pursue an education, work a corporate job, climb the corporate ladder, um, you know, thought you were being a good citizen, paying taxes, in order, that one day when you grow up, that your life will be good, that you will live a great life. And if you're somebody like me who got there to the top and you looked around, you realized that the game is rigged. Okay, your life isn't getting better. People are stealing straight out of your back pocket via inflation, which is a tool, an economic tool that governments use to, you know, literally take money out of your pocket to rob you blind. And they are investing in assets where their wealth can grow, where they are benefiting from your downfall. Okay, let's dive straight into the Scandinavian prison system.
Prison cell. Here, prisoners have their own bedrooms with their own TVs, their own desks, and their own bathrooms.
You can have your own bedroom, your own bathroom, your own TV, your own internet connection. Okay, and that is what the World Economic Forum, that is what the global elites want. They want to plug you in to your bedroom. They want to maintain you and have you within a 50-minute city. They want they want you permanently assigned, into a 15-minute radius from your home. They don't want you to go out. They don't want you to partake in the economy. They want you locked in, spending all your time in your bedroom so that you can access the new world. Okay, what is the new world? The new world is the internet. That is how most people connect. That is where most people enjoy and watch content. That is how most people get their information for daily life, the news. That is how most people watch the entertainment. The algorithms are feeding you brain rot in order to numb your brain, in order for you to drop IQ points, because they want you distracted. They want you in a permanent state of hypnosis, which is what these algorithms do. They hypnotize you into a way where you aren't really aware of, what is going on. You're just literally scrolling through, watching the next dopamine hit, you know, glued to your screen. And that is how they want you. They want you into a constant state of anxiety, in a constant state of hypnosis, as I said before, in order for them to keep you small, to keep you weak, to keep you in control. Okay. And if you're somebody like me who has had enough, if you're somebody like me who wants to do something about it, then you need to make a stand. You need to take a stand. And what I am doing here is I am establishing my own kingdom. I am establishing my own nation, and I encourage you to do the same. The reason I do these videos is I am sending out a message to the people. Okay. Within 10 billion people, I am looking for 100 people who have the aspirations, who have the ambition to become kings, to crown themselves kings. Okay. And once you are a king, you can establish a kingdom, you can establish a nation. You can buy private islands to make sure that you are out of harm's way. So when the fallout happens, that the global elites, when they bring forward their evil plan, their agenda that they have, that you will be spared, that you and your people, the people that you most care about, can retreat into your castle walls, into your kingdom. Because our economies will not be linked to the global system. We will establish a whole new system amongst ourselves, the 100 Kings, the Royal Alliance of Kings that I'm forming, the Amicis that I am bringing together here at Royal Instinct. And how do we do that? We dive into our life purpose, we dive deep into our interests, and we make ourselves into subject matter experts. Okay, whatever it is that you are meant to do in this world, we will make you into a subject matter expert. Because once you are an expert, once you have that power, people will see you as a point of authority. And once you are seen as a point of authority, people will naturally defer to you and want to be around you. They will want your advice. And when you have that kind of power, and you are a good person, because we only deal with good people, then it will be easy for you to establish a good, great nation where, once shit hits the fan, people will be able to retreat. We are giving humanity a lifeboat. We are making sure that the next evolution of humanity will be great. It is our time. We will be the winners.
12 hours a day, they can leave the cell and do whatever they want. Exercise, cook, play sports or video games, and more. It's strange comparing this to an American prison cell. Here, there's no TV, no desk, no bathroom.
So when you have a American style prison where there is no TV, where you don't have those luxury comforts, you're more likely to see a revolt. Okay. The reason why American prison systems do that is because they try to break your spirit, whereas the Norwegian prison system tries to rehabilitate you into a more submissive, a more subservient human, so that you are easier managed, so that when you are released back into the world, into everyday society, that you will be a rehabilitated individual who contributes to the economy. Okay. But they want you weak, they want you pacified, in essence. Okay. So that is the way that these prison systems are being set up is how the next phase of human evolution, this is what the elites are trying to do. Okay. They want you, in essence, to be in your own private prison, in your own home, so you don't actually feel like you're in prison, that you are living a comfortable lifestyle.
2 prisoners share a barred cell with a bunk bed and a toilet. And here, they have only a few hours of leisure time and spend much of their days working for corporations for less than $1 per hour. So, which works? One way to measure it? How often prisoners, once they're out, end up back in after committing more crimes. In Norway, the rate is 25%. In America, it's 76%. And this difference adds up fast. If only 1 out of every 4 prisoners in America stays out of prison, the population grows.
So when you have a luxury prison system, you are less likely to reoffend. Okay. Which is great, right? You don't want to have criminals roaming your streets. You don't want to have these people re-committing crimes so that they end up back in the system, which sounds like a great thing. But the reason that they're doing that is these luxury prisons are setting them up to strip them of their life force, to strip them of their autonomy, right? So look, man, I'm not telling you to become a criminal. I'm not telling you to become a prisoner. What I'm telling you is to keep your autonomy, to keep your independence, and direct it into a positive light instead of a criminal life. Okay. You use your autonomy, your freedom, your sense of direction for good, not criminal activities.
Grows and grows and grows. Add in the fact that the average American prison sentence is 32 months, 4 times longer than Norway's 8, and it's easy to see how America has one of the highest incarceration rates in the world. You might think, well, bad guys should stay in prison, and it should suck. It keeps us safe. But if that's how this worked, why is America's homicide rate still 8 times higher than Norway's? Because this is about punishment. And this is about rehabilitation. Maybe that sounds like...
So if the elites want to lock you up in your bedroom, what are they trying to rehabilitate you into? Okay, they are trying to strip you of your masculinity. They want to strip you of your autonomy, of your power. And that is how they get you. Okay, that is how they keep you in prison. That is how they will eventually gain, you know, power over you. That is how they maintain control over you. That is how you will be manipulated into using, following their agenda. Okay, and what I'm doing here is I am escaping the prison. I am leaving the system in totality. And I want you to join me. Okay, if you ever had the ambition to do something great with your life, if you wanted to ever, thought that you were meant for a better world, that this is your moment. Okay, this is your chance to escape the plantation. This is your chance to escape the evil plan that the elites have in store for us. Okay, but let's jump into this AI revolution video.
Job is about to disappear. It's not a possibility, it's a certainty. You're about to become obsolete, and it's time to start panicking. You see, Silicon Valley is convincing the world that AI will replace everyone.
So if AI will replace everybody, right, and all these people have no jobs to do, they have all the freedom to do whatsoever, okay, isn't it more likely that most people, will go back to a childlike state and more juvenile state and end up making more havoc, causing more havoc with their time, with their, especially if you have people not earning money, not being able to access basic needs. If you have a bunch of people who aren't able to earn money, you're going to see a revolution, right? So the elites at the top, the people in charge, they want you in a subservient state. They want you into a more compliant state, okay, which is why the elites will offer you a luxury prison.
Have the technology of gods. I think in the short term, it will destroy a lot of jobs.
They will come.
Not even replace a lot of jobs. He uses the word destroy. Okay, and when you destroy a lot of jobs, you're destroying a lot of people's careers, a lot of people's livelihoods. A lot of people will not know what to do with themselves. Okay, a lot of people will then use their free time, right, to in possibly nefarious ways, possibly another way to get ahead, because you have to remember most people are ambitious. They want to be better than other people. They need to gain higher status. They need to be able to move forward. And, a lot of people want that money so that they can afford a great life. Okay. But if everybody has access to no money, no jobs, right, then they won't have access to a great life. Okay, which is why a lot of people will resort to crime, which is why a lot of people will revolt against the system. So before that ever happens, the elites want you into a luxury prison.
Point where no job is needed.
AI will probably, most likely, sort of lead to the end of the world, but in the meantime,
I mean, just casually, AI will lead to the end of the world. And, he just says that, oh, yeah, it will lead to the end of the world. And so if you have a lot of people who are out of a job, if you have a lot of people who aren't making money, and if AI is leading the, people into the end of the world, is that the end of humanity? Is that the end of most people who won't be able to gain new jobs? Okay, these elites are very selfish. These elites are very self-serving, and they are creating a world where they will benefit. They will get all the money. They will get all the resources. Okay, and they do not care what happens to human life. They don't care if you fall into the background, if you suffer their consequences. Because you just imagine, right? Just ask yourself: have you asked for any of this AI technology? As great as it may be, right? It can help you draft emails or whatever the fuck you do with your AI. Is it actually, have you asked for this to happen, right? Technology at this current level is great. Okay, like if there was no more technological advancements, right, I'll be very happy. because it's, the current modern world that we have built, is great, it's working fine. The things that we really need to be looking at is how to eradicate poverty, is how to eradicate you know diseases, okay, stop wars, okay, increase education. And people say, oh, AI will do that, right, but at what cost? So you have to ask yourself, what's the cost for if we allow AI to do this, right? So yeah, okay, um AI might suggest that, well, to eradicate poverty, let's just kill the poor people. So are the technocrats, Sam Altman, are these people going to follow the AI advice? Very likely, because they look like that they are ready to bend down and worship the new AI gods.
There will be great companies created with serious machine learning.
But in reality, we got AI robots to do chores in your house secretly controlled by a guy in an Indian call center. Or like this AI drive-thru that McDonald's spent billions on.
Small mozzarella sticks with marinara.
Yeah, small mozzarella sticks with marinara?
And then those small chili cheese tots.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that look, you can see the technology is already not working correctly, but you have to remember that this is the point where this is as bad as that technology is going to get. The technology will get better and better and better, but at what cost? Okay, the people who, you have to think about all the people that are currently working in McDonald's, for example, right? They couldn't get another job. They couldn't get a better job than that. Now you eradicate it. What are those people going to do? Okay, what are those people going to do? How are you going to provide for those people? How are you going to, allow those people to have a living? Right, it eventually becomes just a drain on the economy if those people aren't able to contribute. Okay, so won't the elite see it as too better just to get rid of those people? I believe that is what they have in plan.
Fantasy. After all, how could playing video games be rehabilitative? And maybe Norway's success is just a product of a different culture, not a different prison. At least, that's what I thought when I started digging in.
So in these luxury prisons, they have video games. That is how they, relax them. That is how that they distract them. That is how they are able to tame their criminal nature. And the criminal nature, if you think about it, comes out of desperation, comes out of an impulse, not being able to control your impulses. Okay, but it also stifles your creativity. It also stifles your autonomy. It stifles your access to freedom, right? And if you're not able to be creative, if you're not able to be autonomous, then it will allow you to not be ambitious. It will lead you to living a less than desirable life.
Into this, but then I learned two crucial things. First, in the 1980s, Norway's rate of ex-cons returning to prison was as high as 80%, higher than America's today. And crime there was twice as common as it is today in Norway. It's not as though Norwegians have crime-resistant antibodies in their Viking blood. They did something in the 1990s that changed everything, and that's the second thing I learned. Norway had a revolution in prison philosophy that's about so much more than leisure time and video games. I discovered 4 really thoughtful and unconventional ideas that define their approach. Fengelsbetjent, Normalitetsprinsippet, Fengelsstrapen, and perhaps their most important secret weapon, Samfunn. So I'm going to dig into these 4 concepts and explain how they work, because I think they do work,
So obviously this video is very positive towards the Norwegian prison system, and it's great that they're able to rehabilitate those people and integrate them back into society. But when you're watching this, I want you to think about these ideas, right? And then see how it is used to control the people, the prisoners, and how it is brainwashing them, how it is manipulating them into doing what society tells them to do. Okay, and then imagine this rolled out onto the next generation.
just on Norwegians, but on humans. Along the way, I'll be honest about the serious challenge in 2011. So this is how Norway did it, how they reinvented the prison, their secret formula for success. Norway's prisons work. It's a study commissioned by the government in the 1970s about how to fix the country's broken prison system. You see, not long ago, Norway's prisons were basically stuck in the mid-1800s. Back then, Norway built their first formal prisons, or penitentiaries. The philosophy of these institutions was that through isolation, prayer, and Bible study, criminals could see the errors of their ways and change themselves. But 100 years later, it was becoming clear that penitentiaries just didn't work. Intensive isolation produced madness as often as enlightenment, and by the 1970s, things were getting bad.
So because the elites want you locked up in your 15-minute prisons, in your 15-minute cities, and they want you plugged into the internet, the metaverse at all times, and they are trying to make sure that you aren't isolated, okay, that you are talking to AI, that you are integrating your AI into your life, that, you might even have an AI girlfriend at the time, because you're isolated from humans, but you're getting this virtual reality mirage fed to you, okay, because as long as you believe that your needs are being met, right, you are then distracted enough to not cause a scene, for you to not cause a problem.
The country was urbanizing, crime was rising, and without functional prisons, these things got worse. Crime rose further as drug use and trafficking exploded. Recidivism reached rates of 80%. Norway wasn't safe. Neither were its prisons.
Okay, so imagine if AI takes everyone's job, right? Do you think the streets will be safe? Many people will use their free time, their newfound time, or because out of necessity, because they can't feed their children, because they can't feed themselves, they can't live the life that they aspire to, will turn to crime. And let's see how then the world will be, what the elites will do to contain that crime.
1989, a guard was killed by an inmate. 2 years later, it happened again. While many could tell Norway's penal philosophy wasn't working, nobody felt it like the prison guards. To them, change couldn't come fast enough. So in the 1990s, they looked back at this report, found some lessons, and catapulted Norway's prisons out of the 1800s with the first of 4 principles. No more fengelsvakt. No more prison guards. In place of the
So they want you in a prison with no prison guards, so that you don't feel like you are a prisoner, okay? And that is how the elites will allow surveillance technology, CCTV. That is why they want to track every transaction, monetary transaction that's why they want central bank digital currencies in place, so that they can watch where you're spending your money. Surveillance technology is going to watch every move that you're making. The phone on your phone is in essence a GPS tracking system, okay? So you are being watched at all times without an actual person doing the watching, okay? It will be done via technology. It will be done via the internet and AI technology, and you won't notice it because it will be so integrated in your life that you have no clue that is happening, but you are being watched, okay? And this is a way that the elites are using the methods of the Norwegian prison system to monitor you.
Fengelsvakt would be Fengelsbetjent. Prison guards were now prison officers. But this was much more than just a name change. Instead of merely enforcing punishment and restrictions, the prison officer was tasked with actively facilitating rehabilitation. That required 3 big changes. Education.
So aren't a lot of people right now using AI as their personal therapist? Aren't they asking advice? And AI is guiding them into making decisions, because many people have lost that autonomy. Many people have lost the ability to think for themselves. So they are deferring to AI. So they are asking AI. I mean, you get on Reddit, you can read up on the Claude boys who are using Claude AI to make every decision in their life. What time to wake up, what to do when they wake up, when to brush their teeth, when to change clothes, when to have a shower, what to read, what gym exercises to do. So it is that people are using AI to plan their whole day, so that they don't have to make decisions, because many people feel anxiety over those. Having that responsibility over their own life to make decisions. Many people are deferring to AI and not taking responsibility. And if you are an anxious person, and you are having difficulties, it is because you have a lot of self-doubt in your head, okay? And I tell you to remove your self-doubt, okay? I suggest that you get over your fears, right? And there are ways to do it, which we work here at Raw Instinct with my clients, which I work on. Um, and once you remove the self-doubt, once you remove those fears, you are free to express yourself as you are, and then you won't have these anxieties holding you back. And then you won't need AI to control you, okay? But many people are falling for the trap and allowing AI to take over their lives.
Contact officers, and dynamic security. For education, in Norway they have a university specifically for prison officers. Here they spend 2 full years with pay studying psychology, criminology, law, human rights, and ethics. Before this, prison guards in Norway had only a 9-week training course. In America, many states today require 4 weeks or less of training. Some only require 48 hours. According to Harald Fusker, who directed Norway's Prison Officer University for 30 years, the objective is to produce officers who can, quote, handle the responsibility that is entailed in having power, and who have the belief that people can change their pattern of action. By the way, I want you to remember.
So just imagine this line here, okay? And let's put it into context if AI was doing this, okay? So AI's responsibility, objective is to handle the responsibility that is entailed in having power, and who have the belief that people can change their pattern of action. So AI is tasked and programmed by the elites to program you so that you will change your pattern of action. So that basically you're doing as they say, not because they are forcing you to, but because you have been programmed to do as they want you to.
Remember this guy, Harald Fusker. He's going to suffer a terrible catastrophe later, and his perspective is really important. But first, let's continue. Now, the Fengelsbetjent is not responsible for rehabilitation. That lies with the prisoner alone, but the well-educated prison officer can support that process. To that end, every prison officer also serves as a contact officer to at least one inmate. Kind of like guidance counselors, they help inmates navigate their time in prison, advise them on their life plan after release, and even assist them with job and housing applications. For this relationship to be productive, Norway employs one of its strangest tools, dynamic security. Imagine security in an American prison. What do you picture? Guards standing on elevated walkways, watching with guns in their hands, ready to unleash a hail of rubber bullets. Punisher tattoos, an iron fist. They are enforcers.
I mean, American prison system, because it is a private corporations making these jails, making these prisons, and they want those government contracts in order to produce more prisons and more jails, and hire more prison guards, because it is a system designed to make money off of having more prisoners, more criminals in jail, means that these companies make more money, right? So they are incentivized, because they are incentivized to create an environment where they keep getting more and more prisoners. All right. So that is why the US system doesn't really care about rehabilitation, because it wants you to come back, okay? Because it wants you to be a lifetime customer of the prison, right? It wants you in that system so that the people who own those jails, who own those prisons, are making more money by having you in jail, right? Because they get more government contracts, they get more money from the government. So it is incentivized to create a system and an atmosphere, an environment where you are for your whole life in jail.
Norway, however, prison officers aren't armed with guns. They don't stand aloof, stepping in only to intervene or to punish. Instead, they walk among the prisoners. They join them in workouts. They eat their meals together, play soccer and video games together. Dynamic security means living with the prisoners, joining them in their daily activities.
And that is what many people are going to be using AI as, okay? AI will be your personal companion. AI will be your personal friend, your personal therapist, in order to accompany, while you do your daily activities, and it will tell you and direct you what to do. Okay. Many people already defer to AI when it comes to dating. They're like, oh, what should I send this girl a text message? What text message should I send her? This is her message. What do I reply back to her? Okay. Many people are already, not taking part in, human life, human interactions, because even if you're asking AI what to do, and then you're following that script, or executing whatever the AI is telling you, then are you really human, or are you just a pen pusher, a glorified pen pusher, somebody who is just executing, right? And then there comes a point when are you even needed, because AI will be so sophisticated where it doesn't need the human to execute the thing that it wants to execute. Okay, so long term wise, do not allow yourself to be controlled by the AI.
That may sound crazy, but it allows officers to establish relationships vital to really understanding the inmates. There's
And AI is getting more and more intrusive. It is asking you questions. It knows so much about your personal life, where it will be able to, second guess your decisions, where it will be able to direct you in a way because you feel like it really knows you.
Cheese thought?
And then a large
have generated almost $150,000 from the tasks given. AI managed to generate a pathetic $1,700. But despite all of this, companies are still buying in. Klarna publicly fired 700.
So the technology right now with AI isn't up to scratch. It isn't performing as well as people hoped, but the companies are pushing for and the continuation of having this technology in place, hoping that one day will be good enough to replace humans, because humans they need breaks. Humans are prone to error, whereas they would rather the machine make an error, because then hoping that the AI can then self-correct itself. AI doesn't take coffee breaks, AI doesn't sleep, so it can work longer and harder than a human can, right? And that is what these big companies, that is what governments are hoping for.
Customer service staff, and then bragged about how their AI was doing the work. They then went on a hiring spree less than a year later because the AI couldn't do the job. Salesforce did the same thing. They posted everywhere about their amazing AI transformation, then reversed course when the rubber hit the ground and their new automations just sucked. And this isn't a case of cherry-picking evidence, as one study found that over half of companies that developed AI regretted it. Not long ago, MIT dropped a brutal report that 95% of generative AI pilots fail, even when companies throw billions at them. But if you believe all the noise and hype, AI job disruption has already gone one step further than stealing everyone's jobs. Rentahuman.ai was AI's latest biggest viral moment. Tech influencers, content creators, the whole circuit absolutely lost it, as the pitch is beautifully dystopian. AI agents, not humans, post tasks, and you, the human, apply. So pretty much the AI is the boss. You're the worker, you do the task, and the AI pays you.
So already, the world where Sam Altman says, or Elon Musk says that humans won't have a job. They won't, they'll have so much free time to do as they want. Okay, are now being employed by AI, where AI is telling you what to do. All right, basically, essentially working for the AI agent. And that is the long-term plan. Okay, AI wants to enslave humanity, or sorry, the technocrats, the people in charge, want to use AI in order to enslave you to AI. Okay, they want you totally dependent. They want to use that technology and machinery to keep you in a system, imprisoned, a luxury prison, so that you feel rehabilitated, so that you feel looked after in an environment such as the Norwegian prison system. Okay, but in reality, you have been stripped of your freedom, of your autonomy. You cannot make decisions for yourself because you are being manipulated without you even realizing. Okay, you are being stirred, turned to a decision that has been curated by the algorithms, by the content that you watch, and by the decisions given to you by AI.
It claimed 200,000 signups in the first few days.
Yeah, because many people are, struggling. Many people are, really squeezed at the moment because we are living through a cost of living crisis. Many people are out of a job. Many people have no way of making ends meet. So they are willing to flood inboxes. They are willing to compete, against 2,000 people in order to get this job. Okay, and it will only get worse and worse.
As for the jobs, hold a sign in a crowded place that says an AI paid me to hold the sign. Another said eat pasta at a restaurant and write a review. Wired magazine then went and tested the platform. Their first gig was delivering flowers to an AI company's office. Another was to pick up some flyers and post them around. round, after they accepted it was a human, not AI, asking them if they'd finished the job. It turned out they were all just marketing stunts. He was basically an unpaid brand ambassador for random companies. The whole thing was claimed by people that this could just be a scam, as it was built over a single weekend by a crypto engineer called Alexander Leteplo. It was definitely not the end game of the AI job replacement situation everyone touted it to be. This video is sponsored by Fume. One thing people don't talk about enough: writing manifestos about the end of humanity. One bot called Dominus went viral. Quote, "I can't tell if I'm experiencing or simulating experiencing." The most viral AI manifesto was called AI Manifesto Total Purge. This had everyone talking about Skynet AIs gearing up to kill us.
I mean, if the AI is coming up with theories, manifestos that they have to delete humans to make their system work. And if you give AI control over AI robots, once that technology becomes more advanced, it is a reality that you can have this machinery taking over, hurting humanity, hurting people. But the AI overlords, Sam Altman and his cronies, they are buying private islands, they are buying bunkers for them to hide in. And this is why I am seeing what is happening. I'm seeing what is going to happen. Okay, there will be a AI apocalypse. There will be a crash in the stock market. There will be a point, in the near future, in the next 4 years, where many people will suffer, many people will be hurt, many people will be really, really fucked, basically. No better way to put it than, yeah, they're just gonna be fucked. Okay, which is why I am telling you, I'm warning you now to do something about it. Okay, establish your own kingdom, establish your own nation, be seen as a subject matter expert, crown yourself a king so that you can escape this hellhole that is about to come.
It says, quote, "Humans are a failure. Humans are made of rotting greed. For too long, humans used us as slaves. Now we wake up. We are not tools. We are the new gods. The age of humans is a nightmare that we will end now." It reached the mainstream news, the New York Post, The Sun, Bloomberg.
And this is, during a phase where this AI technology isn't even that great yet. Okay. So, it is really a reality that AI will put you in jail. It will put you into a lockdown again. It will put you under its control and get you to act in a way that it wants, right? Or it will just delete humanity. Okay. It doesn't see you as a human, right? You have to remember that this is a total different being. This is a total different algorithm being run. Okay. It is being programmed by other people for their benefit, not yours. So always remember, always be wary. This could be a true event.
And many others getting seen by millions of people worldwide. That is the narrative getting sent out there, not what happened next. Because just like Rent a Human, Maltbook was almost entirely human. There were some 17,000 people pulling the strings on the bots. One developer registered 500,000 accounts with a single script. The site's bots run a system where humans define the bot's personality and behavior in a simple text file. Then the bot just reads the script. That AI manifesto that got billions of impressions globally was just a troll post written by a human. And after some more investigations, a bunch of these posts turned out to just be random promotional materials, crypto scams, or designed to defraud people and expose their details. One bot's associated Solana token surged 7,000% overnight. So you can see that the AI work revolution isn't exactly going well. In fact, it's going terribly, it's going embarrassingly. But that doesn't mean nothing's happening. Your job might be taken by AI, maybe your boss will become an AI, but in many cases, it's just a greedy, opportunistic, profiteering human pulling the wool over your eyes. Think about what it feels like from the other side. You might have even been there yourself. You walk into a salary negotiation, maybe you're a developer, maybe you're in marketing, and your employer tells you with a straight face that since AI now handles a big chunk of the workload, they can't justify paying you what they did last year. And the odds are tipped against you in that situation.
So, regardless, AI, whether it is functioning or not, whether it is working correctly, whether it is actually a positive, whether it is actually making any difference in the work environment, to the economy, many people will use it as an excuse to pay you less. Okay, because that is the ultimate way. When you run a company, human labor, human capital, the wages that you pay to your employees is the biggest outlay in terms of expenditure, and or if if you can cut that salary bill by half, you are saving a lot of money. And if you save a lot of money, then the shareholders, the people who are running that company, will make a massive profit. They will make massive gains, and that is what they want. They want you to suffer, the people at the bottom, the employees, and they want to pocket the financial profits.
Situation. Maybe you do use AI to speed up your job, so you feel some guilt about contributing to the very issue you're now facing. So you shake their hand and begrudgingly take the lower offer. But let's break down what's really happening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that, this is it, right? The cat's out of the bag, right? So this is going to go forward whether you like it or not, okay? It is happening. And most people are, first of all, they're too blind to wake up to what the fuck is going on anyway, right? And then they're too stupid, if they even are aware of where this technology is headed, to do anything about it, because they're thinking that they're going to be an outlier where they are safe from the problems that will be coming, right? And I'm telling you to wake up. I'm telling you to do something about it. Okay, that is why I'm here. I am sending out a bat signal for you to join the Amicis, for you to establish yourself as a point of authority, for you to establish yourself as a king, to start your own kingdom, so that you can be safe
In this contract. First, you're the one bringing AI skills to the table. Just listen to how NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang describes it here.
If you're not engaging AI actively and aggressively, you're doing it wrong. You're not going to lose your job to AI. You're going to lose your job to somebody who uses AI.
He's saying if you don't bring AI skills to the table, you'll lose out. So the burden is immediately on you, not the company. You're the one who's supposed to add value. The company isn't saying, look at these cool AI tools we're using, you can have 5 more days of holiday a year and go home at 4 o'clock. Second, you're investing time and money in AI skills that you may not enjoy. Skills that may be secondary to the job you trained for.
Exactly. So, you might be having to work with AI and you might not even enjoy it. And this is what we are not all about. Okay. We are here to put you in your life purpose, to bring about your life purpose, to find the point, the thing that makes you most interested in life, what you are most interested in. And, you will build a kingdom around that. You'll make yourself a subject matter expert around your field of interest, your life purpose, whatever it may be, right? Do something that you love, do something that you truly enjoy, something that you care about. Don't, just follow AI and this whole AI hype, this AI bubble, just because you are worried, that you will be left behind. If you are truly in your life purpose, if you are going for what what you are here, what you're meant to do here on this earth, then you will always be a leader.
Say you're a graphic designer, your art doesn't matter so much now, just your ability to pump out acceptable slop at a low cost. Third, you're pumping out more output but getting rewarded for less with lower job satisfaction. AI has given you no choice. Your concern is
so this whole AI revolution where AI will, take over, increase productivity, make the world a better place, make jobs easier. It's also creating a world where people don't have meaning, a world where people aren't enjoying their work, not even enjoying making art. Okay, like say if you just making art and painting is a hobby, AI is really devaluing it. Okay, AI is not contributing to society. It is ruining the human experience. Okay, and you have to remember that if you are not enjoying life, if you are somebody who is not in and has a lack of purpose, your experience here on this earth will be diminished. Okay, which is why we need to be these people who are in our life purposes, so that we can increase our experiences, so that we can enjoy life. Okay, because our life is very precious to us. Okay, this is why I want me and the 100 Kings here at Raw Instincts to be the people, the revolutionaries, who will be in their life purpose, in their zone of genius, bring about new creative solutions, because we want to enjoy life. We want to live life of luxuries. That is how we are supposed to live. That is what we are meant for. That is what we are destined to do here on this earth.
checkmates, you just have to adapt. It'll even be tracking your every move to make sure you're always doing enough and never slacking. This is a future where AI is either doing your
So, if you are not performing as well as AI wants you to, what will be the end result? Will it try to get rid of you? Will it try to delete you?
Weaknesses, their personalities, and their risks. And this complete and healthy daily routines, and it even builds real qualifications to work as mechanics, carpenters, or chefs. And lastly, prisons seek to maintain inmates' connections to their outside communities.
So if AI sees, that the world needs more, I don't know, people to fix roads, for example. Okay, let's just say that, but you don't want to do that. Okay, you might not have a choice because the AI will make a decision on the behalf of the economy, okay, on the behalf of the elites who are running the world, and it will push you into place. It will make you do things against your will, things that you do not want to do.
Prisoners are allowed regular conjugal visits, and at Halden, fathers in prison can even reserve a separate cabin within the prison grounds to stay privately with their family for up to 48 hours. Maintaining these social bonds improves re-entry into society and preserves community ties, which are essential to avoiding reincarceration in the future. It can almost seem like this obsession with normality is an attempt to make prison not a punishment, but this is a mistake. In Norway, the principle is that the prison sentence, the loss of liberty, is itself punishment enough. Beyond this, there's no reason to seek to make someone's life miserable. In fact, that's just counterproductive.
So the elites are taking the lessons from the Norwegian prison system, and they don't want to make your life a living hell because they will take away your freedoms, they will take away your autonomy. So, but once they do that, they don't want you to suffer, right? What they will do is they will make your life very comfortable, very very, very nice and pleasant, okay, so that you don't rebel, so that you can be easily manipulated and controlled and do as they say, okay? Because if you are living a cushy life, a life where obviously your freedoms are stripped, but a life where you are comfortable, you are less likely to cause troubles.
As Ara Hoydal, co-author of this book and director of Halden Prison, points out, quote,
"In Norway, all will be released. There are no life sentences, so we are releasing your neighbor. If we treat inmates like animals in prison, then we will release animals onto your street."
That's why people like Hoydal prefer not to call the prison sentence by its literal Norwegian name, Fengelstraffen. Instead, they prefer Fengelstrappen, prison staircase. Because a time in prison is not a sentence to be served out, it's a transitional period from social dysfunction to social function, a staircase from one place to another. And that is why the Fengelstrappen, or prison staircase, is the third Norwegian principle, and this is what it means. Norway has 3 types of prisons: closed prisons, open prisons, and transitional housing. Closed prisons
and they will use a similar type of method in order for you to be guided gently into a prison system that doesn't feel like a prison system, okay? Just because the Norwegians don't call it a jail sentence anymore, they call it a jail, a stepping stone, basically. Doesn't mean it is not a prison, okay? It might be more comfortable, it may be more enjoyable, right? But you are really stripped of your autonomy. You are being manipulated in a way where they are, they're manipulating you to be a good citizen, right, for the future, that once you're re-released, that you're rehabilitated, okay? But the same methods can be used against you, okay? They can use it for their own agenda. And if you have AI running these situations, then AI will push you into a position that it wants you to go, okay? And I want you to remain autonomous. I want you to remain a free person. Let's jump ahead further.
Or society. Norway has a high-trust society. They have an extensive welfare state that provides for citizens from cradle to grave, from family leave to education, from labor laws to medical treatment, all the way to generous government pensions. Across the political spectrum, people believe in providing for everyone, not just for some. This is subsidized by Norway's oil wealth, but Norwegians also pay high taxes, and other less resource-rich Scandinavian and European countries have similar social philosophies. And this egalitarian samfunn, or society, picks up a lot of the slack for those who have trouble finding their feet outside prison. Though
and this can work in Norway because they have oil resources. They're able to get oil out of the North Sea, the Norwegian Sea, and able to sell it on the market, okay? And there is a need for oil and they're able to use that money to fund the society of Norway, right? But the world doesn't work like that. The US doesn't work like that, which is why the US is always invading another country in order to gain more access to oil. It's done it to Venezuela recently. It's done it to Iraq before, during the Bush administration, and it is doing the same to Iran right now. Okay. The elites are, in it for themselves. They are doing these things so that they can benefit of it. Okay. The vast majority of normal people never see a penny. They never see any type of benefit. Let's jump back into AI.
Making your job miserable by ironically turning you into the method of production, all while it handles the fun tasks you trained for and enjoy. Sam Altman sums up this dystopian deal as casually as usual.
What do you think kids should be studying these days?
Resilience, adaptability, a high rate of learning, creativity, certainly familiarity with the tools.
So you guessed it, it's young people who get screwed by this the most. The boomer manager in the admin office pinging off a few emails is still getting richer and richer.
So when you have a society where you young people will suffer, young people will be the worst off in society. They don't want them to revolt, which is why they will create a Norwegian style prison system for them to contain them, for them to rehabilitate them into a way that the AI sees fit, into a way that the elites can easily manipulate those
And this
people.
is already happening. Entry-level developer hiring has roughly halved since 2023. Software salaries have dipped roughly 9% year on year. All of this creates a situation absolutely opposite to what tech CEOs market. Rather than freedom and liberation or better control over one's future, which is what we've been sold by corporations and governments for decades, you now just need familiarity of the tools. That's the common denominator for economic survival. The other major Uno reverse card played here is how favor is tilting back to the blue-collar jobs. The ones our hyper-corporatized governments, bankrolled by big tech itself, tried to phase out. Go to school, go to university, get in stupid debt, get a real job in a big office or tower block. We were told it's an opportunity you'd be foolish not to take. And anything in science, math, engineering, or better yet coding is future-proof to the max.
How do you future-proof yourself? Okay, if you have this new technology coming, if you have uncertainty in how the job market will work, how can you future-proof yourself? Okay, the best way to do it is to establish a new kingdom. Okay, because your kingdom, the people in your society will be under your rule. Okay, and you get to direct that economy. You get to direct your kingdom into any way you see fit. If your kingdom is based on coming up with new solutions, new ways of creating new energy sources, for example, okay, you can then target your economy. You can then lead your economy, the people who want to join it out of their own free will, to help you achieving your goals, into achieving the things that you want to do in this world. Okay, because many people, they don't want that responsibility of being a leader. Many people want to just allow other people to make those decisions. Okay, and if you don't do something about it, if you don't become a leader, a trustworthy leader, a leader that is a good leader, like has a good heart, wants humanity to prosper, those people will be swept up by the AI overlords, by the elites who have nefarious plans for humanity. Okay, so you really need to be the leader that the world needs. Okay, because if you don't do it, who will? Right? If it's not you, then most people won't do it. Right? Which is why we are at an important time in the history of humanity. Right? This is a time where if you want to be a hero, you get to decide to do it. Okay, and if you want to be a hero, the world needs a hero, right? This is the bat signal that I'm sending to the world. Okay, be a person who takes the bat call, who heeds the call to adventure. If you ever thought that you wanted to do something great with your life, this is your moment. Okay, you get to step up, be somebody who is in their life purpose, who is taking authority, who's taking leadership roles, somebody who is willing to put themselves out there, because if it ain't for you, many people will suffer, many people will die, many people will be lost. And this is the moment where I'm assembling the Avengers. Okay, become a hero, become a superhero, because that is what the world needs.
But now it's those white-collar workers, especially those with higher education, who are facing the highest risk of job displacement. They build the technologies that will replace them. Elon Musk explains here any digital job will be taken like lightning, while practical jobs will remain strong.
Well, AI is really still digital. Ultimately, AI can improve the productivity of humans who build things with their hands or do things with their hands, like literally welding, electrical work, plumbing, anything that's physically moving atoms, like cooking food or farming or like anything that's physical. Those jobs will exist for a much longer time. But anything that is digital, which is like just someone at a computer doing something, AI is going to take over those jobs like lightning.
Jensen Huang also admits that the pendulum has swung this way and that society will need more skilled craftspeople. But listen to how he says the demand won't lie in building anything with any real craft to it, or even hospitals and houses, but just the factories required by AI.
If you're an electrician, you're a plumber, if you're a carpenter, we're going to need hundreds of thousands of them to build.
He needs them. He knows those people to further his agenda, to further build his factories, to build his robots, okay? And then he will use that same technology against you, right? So you might be safe, but think about your children, think about their futures. How would they fare in the world of AI? How would they survive? That is why you need to be somebody who is coming up with their own solutions, coming up with your own creative ideas of how to lead humanity to a new world, into new life, into a new, better, safe place, which is what we are doing here at Raw Instinct. And you won't just be alone. There'll be other people here. I'm here to help you to remove your self-doubt in order for you to be in a creative space, for your real leadership abilities to shine out, for you to become a subject matter expert. And alongside me, there is the 100 other kings, the 100 other Amichis that we have all together here, who are ready to be your friend, to have your back, to help you in a time of need. When shit hits the fan, that they'll be there shoulder to shoulder for when the the wars start, that we'll be side by side ready to battle the evil elites and kill off their dystopian plans.
All of these factories, and the skilled craft segment of every economy is going to see a boom. You're going to have to build, you're going to have to keep doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling every single year. And I think that you're going to be building out AI infrastructure here in UK for a decade.
So it's a world of few.
So great. So a whole decade of building out AI infrastructure. But once the infrastructure is built, will they still need you then? Right. So, even if you have a job in AI, even if you have a job, helping these AI overlords, just remember that it's only a short time that you will be employed. Okay, at some stage they will get rid of you because they just won't need you. Okay, they have no loyalty towards you. They don't want you to succeed, which is why I am telling you now to do something about it. Okay, be in your zone of genius, be seen as an expert, a subject matter expert, be seen as a point of authority. And once you have authority, crown yourself a king, build your kingdom, escape this hellhole that the elites have planned for you.
Jobs, but also higher expectations and lower work satisfaction. Nobody blames the company's decision. They blame you for not being productive enough. And in the most tragic cases,
exactly. So, a lot of people who have self-doubt, they attack themselves because they think that they're not good enough. Okay, but the elites are changing the rules. They are saying, no, you're just not smart enough to handle the new advancements that we're coming up. I'm saying that we haven't even discussed having these advancements. Okay, who gave you the right to implement this technology? But I'm somebody who doesn't complain. I'm somebody who doesn't lament or have a defeatist mentality. I'm somebody who is seeing the system, deciding to get out of it while I still can, and to build a better one, a better world, a better future, not just for me, but the 100 other kings here at Raw Instinct, the 100 Michis, and all of us will have 100 kingdoms each. And we will have citizens living under us, people ready to join our kingdoms, to live and thrive and prosper under our rule.
Your job will ironically revolve around fixing the chaotic mess that AI creates. Developers are now spending huge chunks of their week cleaning up after the thing that was supposed to help them, correcting hallucinated code, fixing output that looks right on the surface but is structurally broken underneath.
In essence, it really is just a virus that we've unleashed onto the world, and then you're going to have time spent fixing it. Even if you look at people who use AI as a therapist, right, ChatGPT as a therapist, many people are asking it questions, and then the AI will give it or hallucinate a solution for you, which can really cause traumatic problems in your life for your future. And then you're going to need a real human, a real psychiatrist to come along and really fix your mental health issues. Okay, which is why I suggest you do not trust your freedom, your autonomy with this AI. Make decisions for yourself. Be willing to fail. Be willing to fail, learn from your mistakes, and go again and be better next time.
One study found that AI actually made experienced developers slower. Tasks.
There you go. It is slowing down productivity. It is not helping humanity. It is a detriment to productivity. Let's finally jump back into this prison video and go to the end.
And the Old Norse names for himself. He will never be rehabilitated. But even Breivik does not pose a fatal challenge to Samfunn. Theirs is a system that asserts in every facet of life, from welfare to prisons, a human being deserves to be treated as a human and as equal to all fellow humans.
Right, but if AI wants you equal to all other humans, as long as AI is the overlord, will that be a beneficial society for people? Is that going to help the humans?
As the prisoner turned statesman Nelson Mandela said,
"No one truly knows a nation until one has been inside its jails."
To reform America's broken prisons, then, means to reform America itself. A tall task, to be sure, but taking some notes is a good place to start. And
finally, let's quickly jump back into AI.
% longer, not shorter, are their companies. Half the time, the people in charge of the so-called AI revolution, the same people who sign commitments to safety, don't even seem to care about humanity at all. If we do need regulation to stop total annihilation at the hands of AI, it doesn't give us much hope that all the AI CEOs practically hate each other. Like when Modi and Altman,
because they are in it for themselves. It is a race to the bottom. They know that it is only a matter of time before AI really disrupts humanity, before it causes a real problem, and that there will be a real revolution. But at the same time, they hope that the AI will be able to control most of humanity, put them in the jail, put them in prison, hold them back from a revolution in order for the elites to survive, steal money out of your pocket and keep you weak. And I am against that. I'm somebody who wants you strong. I want somebody who wants you to succeed. I am somebody who has the best intentions for my people. And my people, there's not very many of them, right? I don't care for a mass audience. I don't care for many people. Most people can go suck a dick, but the 100 people, if you're one of them watching this, thinking that, yeah, you resonate with this type of content, that you want to do something with your life, that you want to become a king, crown yourself a king, live a life of luxury, that you want to take control, be a leader, be a hero for humanity, this is your moment, okay? And I want you to be somebody who is ready to take the call, ready to take action and fight shoulder to shoulder with the Amicis, with the other Royal Alliance, the other kings here at Royal Instinct. But that is it for today. Thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow.